This is 11 Bronson back here again, and this is my entry to Eastwood4life Fans, or Carlos as many of us know him, 500 subs contest. Um, First things first, congratulations on the 500 subs, buddy. You truly deserve it, and I'm sure um, you're gonna get 500 more pretty soon. So congratulations, you truly deserve it. Love your content, love his channel. And he's having this great contest, for those that don't know, where he's giving away a few goodies, few prizes, um, in a very simple but very fun contest. I really like the idea. I'm excited um, for it. I wish everybody luck in the contest. um, Actually, if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna put my sunglasses on because I'm recording outside, as you can see. New setup for me today. And I'm pretty sensitive to light. I always tend to, pretty much like Clint Eastwood, squint, like when the sun is very sharp and bright. And it just happens to be right now, so before I turn into Clint Eastwood, let me just put the shades on there. And I'm gonna link Eastwood4life Fans, Carlos's channel, down in the description box. Please check it out, and anybody that hasn't already. If you love movies, spaghetti westerns particularly, right? But if you like action movies, tough guy, male, testosterone driven movies, his channel is one of the big places to go. I truly I cannot recommend it enough. And the rules of the contest are simple. It's open to anybody. If you want to, you can go right ahead, but you have to be, of course, be a subscriber. And a very simple task. You have to name your top 3 favorite movie franchises. I will be glad to do that. Um, Explain how you discover this channel. So if you discover this channel thanks to this video, because I'm going to leave the link, mention that. Um, and at the end, you have to kind of sell your channel and put the contest in a video, which is what I'm doing right now. Your entry in a video. I mean, if you excuse me, I seem to have a bit of a my sinuses are kind of, yeah. So yeah, rules of the contest: simply have to be a subscriber. Explain why, how you discover his channel, top 3 movie franchise, and at the end you have to sell or kind of promote your own channel. So how I discovered Carlos, or Eastwood4life Fan, well, it's actually a case of he discovered me more than I discovered him. I do remember distinctly that he is actually one of the very first of my viewers. I believe about 7 years ago I uploaded my original Charles Bronson DVD collection, and if you go look, Carlos is there. Eastwood4life Fan is one of the original viewers there, and he commented on that video. And I actually resurfaced recently, and he discovered me again, and we got in touch, and we're actually very good close friends now, even off YouTube. We message each other through WhatsApp regularly. So yeah, that's kind of the story how I discovered him, or how he discovered me. And yeah, we keep in touch regularly, like I said, always texting each other on latest movie releases, and going back and forth with each other, like this is a movie I recommend, and this and that. How movie fanatics, movie collectors, movie fans, talk among each other. So it's a very close buddy thing there we got going on between movies. We bond particularly over the spaghetti westerns, but of course also Clint Eastwood movies, Bronson movies. My channel name, 11 Bronson. So yeah, and let's move over. That's how I discovered him, or how we both discovered each other, right? Let's move over to the movie franchises. First, I had to think a little bit. First off, in the examples that Carlos gives in the contest video, he says, the Rocky movies and the James Bond movies. Those two, definitely. I immediately thought, yes, because and I will explain. I did pick those two. But first, I had to think. Well, what would be considered a franchise? Does it have to be more than three movies? Because if it was a trilogy, I would have definitely put The Godfather right here, Godfather trilogy, and the Man with No Name trilogy. You know, the Clint Eastwood trilogy, Sergio Leone, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, Few Dollars More, Fistful of Dollars, right? But I thought, well, a franchise, I think it should be more than three. But those two trilogies get an honorable mention because if we were talking trilogies, you would see the Man with No Name trilogy and the Godfather trilogy. Um, by franchise, I thought, well, at least five movies, right? And in my opinion, the king of franchises in Hollywood is Sylvester Stallone. I mean, five Rambo movies, six Rocky movies, two Creed movies, three Expendables movies, and like I said, Rocky is gonna be here. But first, let's talk about the Rambo movies. This is the original trilogy. This is the fourth one, and this is the fifth one. My favorite in the franchise is probably the first one, First Blood. Really great action drama, in which Sylvester Stallone plays John Rambo, a drifter, an ex-Vietnam veteran, Green Beret, who wanders into a town and is hassled by the local sheriff. And well, let's just say that Rambo isn't a guy you should mess with. um, Love the second one as well. It's probably the most entertaining out of the bunch. The third one, a lot of people seem to consider the worst or the weakest. I think it's definitely a great '80s action film. I don't have any problems with it. The fourth one is excellent again. I think the fourth one is my second favorite, and the fifth one, the latest one, um, Last Blood. I actually really liked it. I had no big problems with it. A lot of people have kind of gave it a little bit of a hard time at critically, you know. But I actually loved Rambo Last Blood. Um, Fitting finale in my opinion. And yeah, Rambo is my number three franchise of all time. Particularly remember watching these for the first time with my father, who was a huge Rambo fan. Kind of thanks to him, I'm really gotten into all these action films with Stallone and Schwarzenegger. And my favorite franchise, my father's favorite franchise is the Rambo movies. So yeah, particularly I'm really fond of those movies because of the bonding with my father over them. So yeah. Next up is Sylvester Stallone again, and these are the Rocky movies. Carlos gave this as an example for movie franchise to pick, and I was like, well, Rocky is kind of like the first movie franchise that I ever watched. This was before Rambo, obviously, because Rambo is a bit more violent than the Rocky films. But no, the Rocky movies are the first bunch of films I ever saw. Favorite is probably the first one again. Story-wise and directing and acting-wise, it's probably the best. But the most entertaining out of the bunch is definitely Rocky 4. If I just really get away, see that? If I just want a quick fix of Rocky, it's usually Rocky 4. It's only 80 minutes or something, 88 minutes. It's not that long of a film. It's a very easy watch and very entertaining. Almost half of the movie is montage, so yeah. Rocky 5 is always considered the least favorite. And I guess putting everything in perspective, it is the lesser one out of the bunch, but I still love Rocky 5. It was actually the first one I saw. Rocky 2 is a great sequel. Rocky 3 is really 80s and entertaining. You got Mr. T, of the A-Team in there. Yeah, great movies. And Rocky Balboa, the sixth one, really great movie, on par with the first one if you ask me. So yeah, Rocky movies, the Rocky franchise is my second favorite franchise. And even before I got into Rocky, I got into these movies, which is my number one franchise, and also another example that Carlos gave, the James Bond movies. This is the Blu-ray box set. Kind of beaten up. I had this one for years, actually since about the time that Spectre came out. I've talked about the Bond movies on my channel before. Um, Favorite, On Her Majesty's Secret Service from 1969, the sixth James Bond movie. Um, with George Lazenby, Diana Rigg. George Lazenby, Diana Rigg, Telly Savalas is in that film. Really underrated. It's a lot of Bond fans' favorite actually, but the general consensus is that it was kind of a flop, a failure. And I guess compared to like all the films that came before that, because it's the sixth Bond movie, you had Sean Connery before, you know, with Goldfinger and Thunderball, Dr. No, From Russia with Love, You Only Live Twice, billions of dollars, you know, combined. And then you have On Her Majesty's Secret Service with an unknown Australian male model, so of course people are not going to like it at first, but over the years I think people have gone to appreciate it, and it's definitely always been my favorites ever since I saw it. Runner-ups are Casino Royale with Daniel Craig, that's a fantastic film. Skyfall, also with Daniel Craig. Goldfinger is a great one. The Spy Who Loved Me. GoldenEye is also a pretty great Bond film. So yeah, the James Bond films, really like the first bunch of action films I ever saw. I mean, my favorite James Bond is Roger Moore. The coolest guy that ever played James Bond is Sean Connery. So yeah, I love the James Bond movies. I can never talk about them enough. And those are my top three franchises. So next, I have to kind of promote the channel here a bit. So yeah, I'll be glad to do that. It's my honor, my privilege. So yeah, this is the channel of 101 Bronson. That's me, your boy Jeff. Yeah, if you dig movies, this is a place to be. Just like with Eastwood4life Fans channel, and there's a lot of great movie collectors out there, which I'm glad to be a part of. It's like a little community. I love, you know, all these guys. You got Eastwood4life Fan, Cinemaniac77, another Dutch guy like myself. Donnie is his name. You got Toddy Walnuts, who's a great horror collector and also a great movie collector in general. Physical Media for Life, Dan, another UK guy. You got all these great movie collectors. It's like a little community, and same as with them. If you're into movies and you like seeing collections of other people and you like discussing films with other people, this is what the channel is here for. I love getting in touch with other movie fans. Expect to see everything on this channel from like I've my entire DVD and Blu-ray collection up right now. Also some other collecting stuff like action figures. I have a bunch of stuff more coming up in that nature of, you know, collector's items like the Rambo knives. I actually have some replica knives from the Rambo films, which I'm going to show in a future video. I used to do a little bit of live streaming with, you know, playing video games, but I think if I'm going to do that again, I'm going to create a different channel for that, because I want to actually keep this just movie based, right? Yeah, I'm going to also do movie reviews pretty soon, top 10 lists, rankings. So yeah, like everything movie related. That's if you love all these movies, you know, James Bond. If you like action movies, Charles Bronson, Clint Eastwood. If you like westerns, I mean, I'm a huge sucker for spaghetti westerns. I mean, yeah. Expect to see in my next update video of Blu-rays, right? Expect to see a bunch of spaghetti westerns there, because this month has been kick-ass in that regard. Carlos has actually helped me out with a few titles. So yeah, that's kind of like the self-promotion for the channel. It's always kind of hard for me to, you know, promote it, but I think we did okay, didn't we? I mean, I never really can find the right, you know, words or descriptions, if you will, for like Basically, all I can say is if you dig movies and you like discussing it, I'm right here. I have a collection of like over 600 to 700 titles right now, and it's steadily growing. So I love discussing this with people. So yeah, I've made a bunch of friends here already. So I'm glad I resurfaced again after some. So yeah, I'm glad I resurfaced, and after a short time, a little time off, or a little recess, and but I'm back, and I'm very glad to be here in this little movie collecting community right here on YouTube. So yeah, there you go. Anyway, that's my contest entry. Once again, lots of luck to everybody that enters, and Carlos, Carlos, just poured myself a little Jack Daniels and Coke, and here's to you. Here's to the next 500 subs. Actually mixed that one pretty well, if I do say so myself. Anyway, thank you all for watching. Good luck in the contest. So long for now.